And for more, we go now to CBS News producer Elizabeth Campbell joining us over the phone. Elizabeth, you just spoke with a former Carter White House staffer. How are people close to him reacting to his death?
It was certainly an emotional conversation. This staffer was clearly choked up when he was talking to me about just what an impact former President Carter had on so many different people. He really has a life of service, like Mr. Brinkley was just saying there, from the time in the Navy to the school board to governor to state senator to president, and he brought so many people in that type of civil service with him. When we sat down with his grandson for his 100th birthday, we were talking about how he wanted to be remembered. And he said that he wanted his grandfather to be remembered as someone who was always trying to help others and always making sure others felt seen and heard. And he said one of his proudest civic duties was voting, and he was always so civically minded.
And what will the 39th president most be remembered for?
You know, I think, again, that is a great moment of how the former president himself, quipped that he spent 4 years behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, but 40 years behind the copy Resolute desk in the Carter Center. That truly is his legacy of helping people internationally with whether it's disease or health or anything like that. And that Carter Center in Atlanta truly is a testament to him and Rosalynn Carter's work and how long they helped people.
And let's talk a little bit about public observances and memorials. Do we know anything right now about funeral arrangements being planned?
We don't know for sure. We're still getting things figured out. They've started a legacy website for anyone who wants to pay their tribute to former President Carter through the Carter Center, either online or social media. Obviously, his past few birthdays, they've done a big digital mosaic for anyone who wants to pay tribute that way. We expect a ceremony in Plains. We obviously expect a ceremony in D.C., and as he goes along to a ceremony in Atlanta as well. So nothing officially planned yet, but that is what we expect for a caliber of when a former president passes away.
And we just had Douglas Brinkley here, a presidential historian, Jimmy Carter's biographer. Can we just ask you about the political legacy? What lessons can we draw from his leadership and approach to diplomacy?
Absolutely. I think we have to remember that the time when President Carter got elected, it was right after the scandal of former President Richard Nixon, followed by President Ford. And Carter's whole promise to people when he started campaigning was, "I will never lie to you." And that was what he promised to do, and that is what he did do. He had varying levels of efficiency throughout his presidency. I think that's fair to say. But to that point that Mr. Brinkley was making of how steadfast he held in everything that he did, that is truly a testament. I mean, this is a man who, after the presidency, went home to Plains to teach Sunday school. He always made time for his grandkids. He always made time for anyone who wanted to come to Plains. And having been to Plains several times myself, that community still just truly loves him. He was always giving back, always looking out for other people, and that's not something you always see from a former president.
And as you said, dedicated to a life of service, a humanitarian. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think it really, to him, was one of his proudest achievements. If you look at his desk in the Carter Center, on it was a lot of mementos and a lot of reflections of his time, but especially eradicating guinea worm was very close to him. He had a plaque about that on his desk that he saw every day in the Carter Center. And his humanitarian work, going overseas as often as he did, he obviously was known for the peace accords during his time in the presidency, but he was always trying to help others. And that Carter Center legacy is something that continues on. And even in through the final part of his days, he was still checking in and getting updates from the Carter Center. And he told his grandson at one point that he had now trusted him with that and that he wanted that to continue well beyond him and his time.